he says at one point, you know, our art is political, otherwise it would be sure decoration. And I'm always answer, you know, these people who like kind of the literary establishment, they call, you know, everything what's like kind of said like nonsense. But I think it's more, you know, for me, you know, like kind of, I think we live in a time where we have a democracy, and there's a lot of like kind of, I'm relatively convinced, you know, that Oxford wrote it, but I could not say for sure, but I for sure say, you know, here that like I don't believe the man from Stratford could have written it. There's just not the evidence there. There is, you know, there's just like no evidence for him to having been a writer, and that's like just a fact. And whenever you like kind of get in a debate, and I had one in the English-speaking union with some Stratfordians, you ask them questions, you know, like a very simple questions. Why is there no letter ever existent from a man of letters? And you don't get an answer. You get like some wish-wash about some other stuff. And I'm always saying, can I rephrase that question? Can I like say, why is there no book ever found, you know, in his will? Why did this man who must have written hundreds of books have not left one book? And that's all these kind of things, they let me believe, you know, that silly me, that like maybe this guy was not a writer.
I'm not necessarily convinced that Oxford is the author of these plays, but I am definitely, absolutely adamant that it was not a guy called William Shakespeare from Stratford. So the beauty of any great piece of art is that it creates a debate, a necessary debate. And that's what this film does, and I'm proud to be part of it.
It's always struck me as a little bit of an elitist argument to say that a working class man could not have written these plays. I think Southampton's a likely contender as well.
Because although people might think, oh, well, therefore, you know, get her daughter to play the role. Many, many times my mother has done films where I haven't even had an audition for the part of playing her daughter or her younger self. And no, I thought that was really exciting. I suppose one does perhaps see something of what you might become. So if you mean in that way, in terms of, do you know what? The bottom line was I was just so excited. And most of all to get a chance of playing Elizabeth I. That was just huge. That Mum and I both got to play it was just really, really exciting.
You know, I just want to do stuff that's good. Do you know what I mean? I want to work with interesting people and brilliant directors and actors that I respect and like. And irrespective of what this film's about, it's a cracking good yarn as well. Do you know what I mean? It's a good story. It's a beautifully put together, structured story. And I want to be involved in telling good stories.
I think what blew me away when I saw the film was just the power of those scenes in the Globe, of when the audience is engaged, and it does have a power to change. And that's what made me think that Roland had just done such an incredible job. And whoever Shakespeare was, whether it was the man from, I don't know who it was, but he would have loved this story.
When I first learned of the Shakespeare authorship thing, the thing that kind of pissed me off the most was when I was in 7th grade, I read Romeo and Juliet, and there's this nice 10-page thing about the author ahead of it. And I had no idea that 10 pages is all assumptions and guesses and kind of not fiction, but not real either. And so when you read a 1,000-page book about William Shakespeare, you're really reading a novel, because we don't know anything about him. And we're just making guesses and assumptions based on the fact that we assume he wrote the plays. Therefore, he must have gone to school. Well, there's no evidence he went to school, but he must have gone to school because he wrote these plays. And all of the teachings you learn about Shakespeare is all that kind of backwards logic. He must have gone to Italy because so many of the plays take place in Italy. We don't know he went to Italy. They call them the lost years. It's all backwards logic. And
I think that's also why everybody, you know, like in the Stratfordian side is now so pissed, because, you know, we like kind of called them by their lies.